In this video, I'll show you how to get started creating your budget in Streamline. All proposals must have a budget, and that will look like this record. You only need to do a very simple budget entry. You'll be creating your budget outside of Streamline in whatever system or whatever format your sponsor requires. You must be sure to upload a budget spreadsheet and a budget justification in the attachments and notes section of the Streamline record. If you haven't done so, make sure to visit OSP's website and download the budget template and complete that. Now, to create your budget in the Streamline record, you're going to go to the Budget Versions menu item. Here you can create a name for your budget. The name doesn't matter, it's for your use only. Click Add. Now you've created a budget. Streamline will allow you to create multiple draft versions of the budget if that helps you to create the budget you need. Before you submit, though, you're going to need to select the correct version as the final version by clicking this box, and then you'll also need to mark it as complete, which will lock it for editing. For now, I'm just going to go back to incomplete so that I can edit this budget. Now, to edit the budget, click Open. The first thing you'll see is the Budget Parameters panel. This will identify the basis for calculating particular budget items. The first thing that you're going to want to check is that the project start date and end dates are correct. If they're incorrect, you're going to need to return to the proposal, go back to the very beginning and change those dates, then return to your budget. The budget parameters section also includes important specs on the F&A or indirect cost rate and the basis by which that rate was calculated. Most projects should use this default MTDC calculation method and the on-campus F&A rate. Now, if your program's solicitation specifically requires you to use a different rate basis, for example, DoD contracts have a particular rate basis, and some projects will require TDC, you can change that on this rate type menu. If you're using an off-campus F&A rate, you can change this menu to off-campus. If you do that, you'll need to confirm that you have the approval to use the off-campus F&A rate. That form is available on OSP's website. If for any reason you're using a reduced F&A rate from what the university typically requires, please enter comments here to indicate the reason for that reduced rate, which would be that the sponsor requires a lower rate. Additional budget parameters that may apply to some projects are modular budgets. Click this box. This is only for NIH proposals that will be submitted using the modular budget format. Cost sharing. If cost sharing is allowable and approved, click this button. You'll need to allocate the cost sharing to an account index and provide the cost sharing agreement in the attachments section of the Streamline record. Finally, you can identify either total cost or total direct cost limits if they apply to your project. Streamline would then generate a warning if your budget goes over the cost limit. Below the parameters is the schedule of budget periods. By default, these budget periods will be calculated as 12-month intervals beginning with the project start date. If your project has budget periods that are shorter or longer than 12 months, you can edit these dates directly, or you can add additional budget periods, delete budget periods, as long as they're all within the total project period that you originally defined. To revert to the 12-month periods, or in the case that you've recently changed the project start or end dates, you can click the default periods button to revert back to those 12 months. You will enter the budget period totals directly into this table. You need only enter the total amounts for each budget period for the direct costs, the F&A or indirect costs, the total sponsor costs, and if it's applicable, the cost sharing amount. This should match up with the budget spreadsheet that you've attached, and the help text above will help you identify which item on the budget template or the spreadsheet matches which item in the Streamline table. This is going to be all you need to do. You can save, and then click the big red button to return to editing the rest of your proposal.